tell me a little bit about you. I've heard so much about you from all the women from the New Hollywood, and you are someone who moved out here and has consistently worked and seems to really have your act together and have balance of what's important and what's not. And yeah, which I think is very tricky. Yes, and people say all the time that if you look like you do, life is so easy and there's no setbacks and you have, you're privileged. So I want to get into a little bit about how Hollywood is still challenging, or any career you want. Life is not easy. That's why we're here. We're here to grow, to learn, and to challenge ourselves.
Sure.
So if you could share just part of what your journey was like coming here and setbacks that you've had and how you overcame them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be wonderful.
Well, I was really fortunate early on in that when I was in high school, I flew to New York to audition for Fordham University at Lincoln Center's theater program. And I ended up getting in and ended up going to school there. But while I was there, I had an audition for what was going to just be a 3-day part on a soap opera at the time called One Life to Live. And I mean, it was like my first real audition, and I got it.
Were you excited about that?
I was so excited about it. Are
I
you kidding?
soap operas when I was in high school, like General Hospital.
I did too. I had, I would watch a couple of them with my grandmother when I was little and stuff, and it was just cool. I mean, being from Memphis, Tennessee, just being on TV. So yeah, I ended up booking the role, and it turned into about a year-long part, and I would fly back and forth from Memphis to New York to shoot. I didn't want to give up my senior year in Memphis, so we were able to just work it out where I'd fly in when I was shooting. Finished that up, went to school my freshman year at Fordham, and realized quite quickly I really couldn't be a full-time student and a full-time actor. I kind of had to choose, and I chose to be a student and to get my training and my education. And I sort of thought everything would be easy breezy as soon as I graduated.
Of course, you already worked. You're in
I've already
demand.
had a little job, and I mean, this was years later. And as you had mentioned, I was able to study at Oxford and in London at the British American Drama Academy, and got my Shakespeare training and all there. And I just thought I was set. And lo and behold, things were a little harder. There were a lot of no's. I've been fortunate with the yeses, but it's definitely hard. It takes a lot of resilience. It takes a lot of believing in yourself.
Share some of the no's, because everyone thinks
Where to start?
Nobody would say no to you.
Oh my gosh.
Especially with your training, your looks.
No, thanks. No, there are a lot of no's. There's a ton of competition, and I've really gone through different periods in my life where I've felt equipped, and you hear no enough, and sometimes it can really mess with your self-esteem. And I sometimes would, feel really horrible, and then you emit neediness, I think, in an audition or an interview, and have to kind of pull yourself back up. And ultimately, I think I hear no in my profession a heck of a lot more than I ever hear yes. And that's fine. I'm good with that. It's made me stronger, and it makes
How
me...
did you deal with it in the beginning, though? What made you persevere instead of saying, maybe this isn't right for me, maybe I'm not that talented, or maybe I need to find a different path?
Passion. I think it boils down to passion. I think that I really, really love storytelling. I love entertaining. I think that ultimately we all have to do what we're really good at and what we really love, and that ultimately you will prevail. And so I think I just knew that if I kept working at it, that eventually some breaks would start coming. And as I said, I had had a couple of lucky breaks, but the snowball effect sort of happened later. And I mean, I remember moving to LA and going to my mailbox going, if I don't get a job in the next month, I'm gonna have to move out. I can't afford my apartment. And lo and behold, a residual check came in from something I'd done before. And then the next month I got a voiceover job or whatever. And things kind of happened. And then I remember after I'd been here a little over a year, I guess, and just could not get arrested, I got a guest star on something, which led to another, which led to another. And that year, I think I did about 10 or 11 guest stars. And then I got my first pilot. And then you know, work begets work. Work begets work.
Yes.
But you just got to get that first job.